I'm Master Stepfamily Coach Naja Hall, and today I want to talk about how to tell if your man's ex is not over their relationship. The most blatant way is if she tells him. If she says things like, I miss us, or I want my family back, or the children really miss you, we really miss you, that means she's not over the relationship and she's definitely not ready to become a co-parent. Now, most of the times, she may not say these words exactly, so it'll come in a different form. She might be more passive about it. She might alienate him, for example. She might send messages through the children, or she just might flirt a little bit. If she tries to cause problems in his new relationship, then she might be envious or jealous of the fact that he's totally moved on, and she can't see herself as no longer being his romantic partner and just being his co-parent, which is also an extremely important role in his life, but it gives her far less control and far less input on what happens in his life. If she tries to alienate their child from the father in an effort to punish him, then she is absolutely full of resent and contempt. A good man or good father that wants to spend time with his child and actively takes care of his child, however, the mother is withholding this child, is still hurt. She's full of pain, and one of the best things you can do besides giving her time is litigate. I firmly believe in making sure that your man has very clear, concise custody orders in place that outline his visitation, phone call schedules, who can pick up and drop off the child, just little things like that that eliminate the need for conversations, because as we know, when co-parents are not on the same page, any little miscommunication can cause a big blow up. If she calls at inappropriate times, then that doesn't necessarily mean she still wants to be in a relationship with him. However, she does not have clear boundaries on what this new co-parenting relationship should look like with her child's father. The best way that a man can handle that is simply to tell her, and I know it's easier said than done, but he has to be very firm in this. And if she does call outside of business hours, the business of raising a child, by the way, if she calls beyond outside of those hours, then he simply can't answer the phone. One of the members of my membership community, VIP Stepmom, suggested this one. She says if a biological mother tries to emulate her ex's lifestyle, then she might be in a competition with him. She might go out and buy the same car he has, or move into a bigger house, or move into the same neighborhood, or immediately get into a new relationship. If there's a sense of competition, then that means she's certainly not over this failed relationship. If a biological mother expresses an extreme dislike for the stepmother, a hatred for the stepmother, she tries to alienate the children from the stepmother, and this woman had nothing to do with the breakup or the breakdown of her relationship with her co-parent, then she's absolutely still, I'm not gonna say in love with him, but she has some feelings that are not yet resolved. And let me just add this as a caveat. Most biological mothers aren't actually still in love or want to be in a relationship with their baby daddies. They simply have not found a healthy medium between being his co-parent and a former romantic interest. They haven't learned a clear set of boundaries yet, meaning this is not your man anymore. You can't control who he talks to or where he goes, and especially how he parents. The next reason is if she makes every conversation with her child's father about herself or their past relationship, then she's not over him. Conversations between co-parents, especially ones fresh out of a relationship or ones that are still in the midst of a little bit of conflict, should remain child-centered. But if every time something reverts to back in the day, you used to do this, or you never did this for me, or you do this for her now, or I miss you, or it goes to an unhealthy place, then she's absolutely not ready to build a relationship with her co-parent based on boundaries and respect. In an unhealthy or unbalanced co-parenting relationship, there can be a big gray area between what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. It's up to the parent that is ready to move on and strictly co-parent to set the boundaries and be firm about them. A lot of stepmothers seem to think that the biological mother is jealous of them, and I would say it's not really you, stepmom, that she's jealous of. Maybe she is envious of the life that you've created with her former partner. Maybe she thinks you are getting to reap all the benefits of the work and time that she put in pouring love and support into this man. Maybe she's projecting some of her own insecurities onto the stepmother. There's some cases where a biological mother and a stepmother's relationship with the same guy kind of overlaps. And yeah, that does cause some tension. But if this is a brand new man in your life and his child's mother is still wrapped up in what's happening with you, she calls you ugly, she calls you names, she dehumanizes you, then she kind of is not over that fella and what happened in that relationship with him. By the way, fellas, it is not your job to coddle this woman. It's not your job to give her answers. It's not your job to be her therapist or her shoulder to cry on. Now, while it would be nice for you to offer support and encouragement and acknowledgement to your child's mother, if she's any sort of high conflict, then it's best that you completely back away. She's gonna have to go find a coach or a therapist or one of her friends to be the shoulder to lean on. You cannot do it. I would never advise that a man fall into the trap of becoming that person, because it's hard to co-parent with somebody that still has unresolved feelings. In extreme cases where a biological mother assaults or stalks or threatens a new woman in a man's life, then we know she's not over that. Now, if you are a woman that is being stalked or harassed, I would suggest that you carefully reevaluate your relationship. Now, this man is stuck with this woman for the rest of his life, but you're not. So if he's not the absolute best man that you've ever been with in your life, run. And I mean that. I seriously mean that, because the stress that comes along with being with someone that has a high conflict co-parent in their lives is tough. It can put quite a strain on your own emotional well-being and your relationship. As a matter of fact, 70% of second marriages fail for this very reason. Now, a lot of people think it's finances or infidelity. No. Now, stepmoms, this is why 70% of second marriages do not work. There's a high conflict biological mother. There are stepchildren that are causing problems within the household, or you're just with a man that has an issue setting boundaries with his previous family and his new household. Now, this is kind of cringy, but if she shows up to pick up and drop offs or events that she knows her child's father is going to be at, scantily clad, not wearing many clothes, flirting with him, reminding him of how cute she was or how cute she is, then she still wants that man. She wants him bad. Now, stepmom, this doesn't mean you have to be there, because you're not your man's bodyguard. You just have to trust that he's going to do the right thing with respect to your relationship. And by the way, just because she's in a whole new marriage or has new children does not mean that she has moved on from wanting to control and have input and maybe even still kind of be with her child's father. If she's always trying to find a reason to communicate with him, and it's definitely not about the child, then she has not found a healthy way to coexist with this man as simply being her co-parent. Breakups are hard. Divorces are devastating. As a matter of fact, a lot of people describe the feeling of divorce as like the death of a family. So you essentially have to grieve something that is still going to live on, but it has to just be restructured in a different way. And a lot of people don't find healthy ways to grieve. That grief turns into hatred and contempt and jealousy and envy and a lot of years of litigating in court, very expensive battles, fighting battles through attorneys, alienating of children, never allowing the children to connect with the new step parent. So this level of grief is something that a lot of people are just not prepared to endure themselves. You can usually tell when a mother is not over her child's father if she's very quick to profess how great her life is without him, how happy the children and her are now that he's gone. She's gonna find her kids a new dad. If she is always trying to convince him that she's better off without him, sounds like she's trying to convince herself. Happy people really don't need to gloat like that. They certainly don't feel the need to put it on Front Street for an ex, because they're an ex for a reason and we don't have anything to prove to them. And one of the telltale signs that she's really not over him is she's really cool with him. Everything's okay. They're perfect co-parents until boom, he goes and gets in a new relationship. Then all hell breaks loose. So if any 4 of these tips sound eerily familiar to you, then there's a very strong chance that your man's ex is not quite over him. If you yourself are stuck in a cycle of not being able to unattach from your co-parent, or if you're a woman that is the new person in this family that's been devastated by a divorce or breakup, no matter how many years ago it was, then I have resources for you. Please visit me at blendedinblack.com and vipstepmom.com. I am Naja Hall, and I will see you next time. Oh, and by the way, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, I would be very happy to answer them down below.